Also in Matthew chapter 24 and verse 37, Jesus prophesied that as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the days just before he returns. Well, how were things in the days of Noah?
And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. The earth also was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence.
In the US, a teenager shoots his father because he wants to enjoy watching someone bleed to death. In Britain, two 10-year-old boys kidnap and brutally murder a toddler. In today's world, such horror is becoming commonplace. It is hard to imagine that even the days of Noah were as violence-filled as those in which we are now living. Vietnam. Americans mourn the death of 58,000 of their young men in 8.5 years of fighting. But the casualty rate on US city streets is now 4 times as high. The FBI reports that 24,530 people were murdered in the US in 1994 alone. The US Bureau of Justice Statistics estimates that a whopping 1.1 million violent crimes were committed with guns in 1992. Many of the victims are teenagers, killed by other teenagers who seem to have no concept of the value of life. Society wrings its hands and agonizes. Why? Behavioral scientists have concluded that one of the main culprits is this. By the time the average American child is 15 years old, he will have witnessed the violent destruction of more than 35,000 human beings on television, as well as 200,000 other brutal acts of violence. Violence is glorified in America, where the national icons from Sylvester Stallone to Arnold Schwarzenegger tend to be men who excel at violence. Movies such as the Rambo and Terminator series, which have grossed hundreds of millions of dollars worldwide, illustrate how voracious the appetite for violence is in today's world. Children's cartoons today also contain all kinds of sickening violence. Eclipsing the Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtles and The Simpsons, MTV's Beavis and Butthead has become a children's favorite. A far cry from the Disney cartoons of a generation ago, Beavis and Butthead routinely torture animals, set fire to furniture, and engage in all kinds of abhorrent juvenile behavior. Then there's horror movies. Many preteens today watch this type of movie at gross-out parties with their friends. Video shops report that horror movies are especially popular among 11 to 15-year-olds. And then there's rock music videos, many of which romanticize violence, sexual assaults, and murder. Between the 7th and 12th grades, the average American teenager will listen to and watch 11,000 hours of rock music, more than twice the time they will spend in class. The fruit of all this is that the rock and roll era has seen violent crime increase among young people by over 10,000%. Today, in the US alone, a violent crime is committed every 25 seconds. Every 9 seconds, a home is burglarized. A woman is raped every 6 minutes. Every 25 minutes, someone is murdered. The only comfort in this terrible tide of rising violence is that according to Bible prophecy, it is yet another unquestionable sign that points to the second coming of Jesus Christ, when all senseless violence and cruelty will be stopped and war itself will be abolished.
And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall grow cold.
With today's totally selfish and self-indulgent me generation, this prophecy by Jesus about the end times certainly is being fulfilled. Iniquity abounds more than it ever has in world history, and no one can deny that the love between so many people has certainly grown cold. In the USA, 50% of all marriages end up in divorce, and 1/4 of all children born in the USA do not have married parents.